Welcome to Research Academy. Before I do my presentation today, if you end up getting something useful out of this video, I'd invite you to check out our Discord server. It's going to be in the link in the description. Today we are going to be talking about researching and taking notes. This is the Research Academy method. This is the method that I've came up with over the past month. I've developed this method and I think I've perfected it. So let's go into how I go about things. So why do I use Google Sheets for notes? First of all, why do we use Google Sheets? Why Google Sheets? There's a number of reasons why I use Google Sheets. Number one, it's easy to access by anybody, pretty much. So easily accessible. Anybody with a computer or phone can get Google Sheets. That's why I like to use it. I know spreadsheets like Excel and stuff like that are a little bit more advanced, but I want I want anybody to be able to access the notes that I use for every single research session. The next one is more organized note taking. So it's a more organized format. There's boxes and sections. It just makes everything more compact, everything more organized, everything just fits more well together. And it's also way easier to move the notes around. Easier to move notes. Easy to copy and paste lines of text. Because you can just paste it into the boxes. And the last one, it's easy to paste images. And you can put it anywhere on your screen or you can minimize it to one box. The way you do that is when you paste in an image into the cell, it's going to look like this. It's probably going to be bigger than the cell itself. This is the image right here. And it's going to have 3 dots on the corner right there. Here's your cell right here. So it's a much bigger picture than the cell. You're going to click these 3 dots, and there's going to be a button where you can just fit it inside that cell. And then it might be the picture might be squished a little because of that. And you can just merge that cell with cells next to it to stretch the photo back to where it needs to be. Okay? So, that out of the way, we're going to move on to the next point, which is remember an organized mind brings organized notes. So, it's very important to come into every session with an organized mind before you take your notes. So, if you're feeling a bit out of it, you can try and take a 5 to 10 minute meditation to practice your mental presence before you enter a research session. Help clear your mind of some things. So, meditation, 5 to 10 minutes before a research session. Another thing you can do is if you need a warm up, you can actually try this secret exercise that I came up with that I'm not going to go through in this video because I don't have time, but when I do reveal it, I will put the exercise in the card up above right now. So it will also be in the description of this video when it does come out. I I've came up with like a new exercise to help a more organized mind and connecting dots. And that will probably be in the next video actually. And there's plenty of other factors. There's so many other factors you could get into. There's plenty of other factors that could cause a disorganized mind, such as like anxiety, depression, or hyper fixation on other topics. People like me who have ADHD tend to hyper fixate on things and they can't let it go. So you have to let that go and hyper focus on what you're researching on right now. There's so many topics I could go over regarding how to organize your mind, but this video will go on forever, so let's continue. Let's continue to the general layout of Research Academy lessons. How will every single research session go? This is how every research session will go in Research Academy. This is the layout that I'm looking towards. In general, so it doesn't always have to be like this, okay? Sometimes you can just hop on with your friends and just mess around, okay? If it doesn't have to be serious if you don't like you don't have to make it serious sometimes. Um I'm just going to tell you how it's going to go. So, every research session will begin with everyone who would like to give a brief overview of their prior knowledge to the subject matter. If you join the research call, you will be given the choice to participate or not. You can join at any time. You can like rejoin at any time and start participating whenever. Also, after that, everyone will have at least 30 minutes to research together. You can share your screen during this time, and it's which is optional and helpful if you want to like bounce back forth ideas to each other, right? And like share notes and stuff like that. Afterwards, everyone who would like to give a full presentation on everything they learned, all their notes that they've taken, uh, you can do that. And you don't need to have a whiteboard like me when presenting, okay? You can also use an online whiteboard. My favorite is Excel, Exceladra.com. Let me just write that down because I have no idea how to pronounce it. So that's where you will find your online whiteboard. You can use that for presentations. You can also just present directly off your notes, but drawing pictures is very helpful, especially for visual learners, like most people in general. So, how do we research? How do we go about researching itself? First thing is make sure to use credible sources. Okay. What is defined as credible? This is actually debatable. What sources could be deemed as credible? But generally, everyone agrees with the following sources. Sources. We have PubMed, Google Scholar, Science.gov, And did I have one more on there? ResearchGate.net. These are all very good sources to go right to right at the beginning. Those ones right there. Now we're going to look at what not to use. First one is Wikipedia. I will leave one exception for Wikipedia. The only exception is that if it's an extremely obvious point that most people know, okay? If it's an extremely obvious point and it's from Wikipedia, that's okay, okay? So next is be picky about your .com websites. Be picky on .com websites cuz anybody can create these. Also, do not use Reddit, please. And do not use Quora, if I spelled that right. I think so. Oh yeah, also try avoiding using AI. And here's actually the exception for that one. Okay, unless you ask it, this is the only way, this is the only reason you can use AI, okay? This is the only thing I'll allow you to use AI for. Is if you ask it for sources and or logical explanations to every point it gives, okay? Unless you ask it for sources. And you link those sources in your notes. So we have the credible sources and what not to use now. Now we need to know, how do we take our notes in the first place after we've gone to these websites and gathered information. So how do we take notes? This is called the Research Academy method. And basically think about this method as a giant organized brainstorm where you're dumping all your information, dumping all your ideas on a big spreadsheet, and it's all organized so you can look at it and you can read. Eventually over time you'll get more and more used to it. It might be complicated at first, but I'll just show you. All right. This may look complicated at first, but I'm going to talk you through every single little box here, okay? This is probably the best way of taking notes. This way is what I've found so far. Um yeah, I know there's probably other ways to take notes out there that are better for specific situations, but I like using this one. So, I'm going to go over it. First thing you're going to have is your category, your first category. So, in those categories that you are going to title, whatever you want, you are going to have, those are going to consist of points or things, anything you mention. The first thing you're going to do after you create the category is you're going to go to the third box over here. This is going to be your main point right here in the third box right underneath the category. Main point. Okay? Next, you're going to go right to the left of the main point in the third box, and you're going to link your source to where you got the information for that. And or you can have an explanation of your reason, because sometimes you don't need a source link because it may be a logical explanation, see? So that's why this is optional and this is optional if you have a logical explanation. So both of them are optional. And then right after that, you can just have some notes if you want to. So that's also optional. So whenever I put OP at the end, that means it's optional. So notes are also optional. Now, under the category and under these points, we're going to have subcategories. You don't have to have subcategories, but you may find yourself delving deeper into specific points, so you may need to make subcategories on those points under the categories. So, subcategories is going to be the same layout as a category, but it's just going to be a category within a category. So be sure to be descriptive on these titles when you're making them. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to give your main point right here in the third box right there, your source link, and your explanation of reason. Repeat until you run out of ideas. Just repeat for as long as you can. Try to make as many of these main points as possible. Okay? Notice when we switched from categories to subcategories, we left a little gap right here. Now, when we're switching from category 1 and we're done with however many subcategories we want to create, we are going to make a second category underneath. So separating categories from subcategories is one line. Separating categories from categories is 2 lines. See that? So it'll be easier for you to distinguish. In the second category, same layout. You're going to have the main point, source link, and explanation of reason. Now I'm going to give an example of this, just to make you understand a little better. So in this case, I took notes on cold showers. So I'm taking notes on cold showers. So on the title of my spreadsheets, I'm going to put cold showers. And the first category right here, this is the first category. One thing I also did not mention is that you should make bold all of the categories, all the subcategories. So those will be bold, and these explanations will not be bold, these points. So first we have the benefits of cold exposure, benefits of cold showers. We got benefit 1, which is in place of my main point. So this is the main point. Benefit 1, benefit 2, and benefit 3. And then let's say you have more to expound on benefit 3. So create a subcategory that's labeled like benefit 3 or regarding benefit 3 or something like that, and you want to put some extra notes on that benefit. Then you're going to do the same thing, is you're going to put points right underneath that. But notice how I didn't leave a gap between benefit 3 and benefit 4, and I didn't leave a gap between this subcategory. That's because this is still underneath the benefits of cold showers. So it goes benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. We can't leave a gap here because we still have benefit 4 right down here. So we can know that it's all together. Does that make sense? And now I skipped it into a subcategory. So things to know about regarding brown fat, I said, because cold exposure helps maintain your brown fat in your body. And then you got main points, and then explanation of reason, source link, and extra notes if you need to. One question you might commonly have is, what if I run out of space in a box? Okay. If there's not enough space in a box, merge the box with the box beneath it and the box under that one too if need be. You can do that by shift clicking the boxes. So I would click on one box right here, and I would shift click the one beneath it right here. So click it and then shift and then click on that. Hold down the shift button and click on the one beneath it. And you are going to press merge. The merge button on Google Docs or Google Sheets looks like this, I think. It looks something like that. It's going to be at your top of your screen right around here anyway. So, boom, shift, click, merge cells. Also click on the vertical align button. That one's going to look like that. And you're going to want to change it to the top. So all the text is going to go to the top. And then the last thing you need to do after that is click on the text wrapping button. It's going to look something like that. And you are going to click on wrap. So you want it to wrap the text. It's going to look something like that. So those are the 3 buttons I want you to use when you run out of space. Well, you might say, like, why not just drag these cells like this down to make it bigger? It's because dragging the cells will affect the cells to the right and to the left of your page. That will mess up space, and you might use that space in the future. You might want to use that. The next example I have is a Q&A format. So this is an example of the template we used earlier, and this time it's going to be questions and answers. So we're going to have the subject at the top, and then we're going to say why, and this is going to be in bold. These are both going to be in bold. And then you have your reason, as many reasons as you need to. And then we have the how. So how. And then you have your answer, as long as you need to. So this is the simple question and answer format that is very useful when researching. And that is all I have for you today. Now, concerning resources, I'm going to have a template of the taking notes synopsis in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and check that out. It's going to look a lot more cleaner than how I wrote it out for you today, so definitely check that out before you go researching. And that's all I have for you today. I hope to do a double upload again tomorrow if everything seems on track. And I hope you all have a good day.